Welcome, we are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with Maldives President Mohammad Muizzu. Several agreements expected to be signed. Israel marks October 7 attack anniversary with intensified strikes on Gaza and Lebanon. Hezbollah's rockets hit Israeli port city of Haifa. Massive blast outside Karachi airport. 2 Chinese nationals dead and several injured. Balochistan Liberation Army claims the responsibility. Authorities urge evacuation as Florida braces for Hurricane Milton. Highest storm surge, destruction feared ahead of Wednesday's landfall. And India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will inaugurate DefConnect 4.0, focus on advancing indigenous defence innovations for self-reliance. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Maldives President Mohammad Muizzu are holding an official meeting in New Delhi. Post the meeting, India and Maldives are expected to sign several agreements. Maldives President Muizzu will later meet India's President Draupadi Murmu and also Vice President of India Jagdeep Dhankar. And Maldives President Mohammad Muizzu, who is on an official visit to India, was accorded a ceremonial guard of honor at Rashtrapati Bhavan in Delhi. President Draupadi Murmu and Maldivian counterpart Mohammad Muizzu introduced each other to their respective countries' ministers and delegation. And later, Maldivian President laid a wreath at Rajghat in Delhi. His wife Sajida Muhammad was also with him, paying tribute to Father of the Nation Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat in New Delhi. President Muizzu also signed the visitors' book there. And talking about the ties, India has been a trusted development partner for Maldives for decades, and this development cooperation comes as the Maldives hold a special place in PM Modi's vision of Sagar, that is security and growth for all in the region, and India's neighborhood first policy. Some of the landmark projects started in past include, let's try to understand through graphics, Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital, built with Indian grant assistance in 1996. So Maldives Institute of Technology, built at cost of rupees 12 crore, was handed over to Maldives in 96. India-Maldives Friendship Faculty of Hospitality and Tourism Studies, built with Indian grant assistance, was handed over to Maldives in 2014. And India is supporting restoration of Hukuru Meseke in Malé. A Great Malé Connectivity Project aims to connect Malé to Vilinjale, Gulifalhu and Thilafushu Islands by a series of bridges, causeways and roads. And the project is funded through separate $400 million line of credit and $100 million grant from India. And Greater Malé Connectivity Project is progressing well and is monitored regularly by Joint Project Monitoring Committee. And on 7th October 2023, Israel saw an attack which could not be defined with words. Raw, heinous, barbaric, still not apt. Terrorist group Hamas had entered Israel, attacked and killed the civilian population wherever they could find. People screaming, running, trying to hide. They returned to Gaza, taking hostages. Terrorists entered their homes, not even sparing one-year-old baby. It was not just Israelis who reeled from shock over the unexpected attack. Let's take a look at Aarti Rana's report.
October 7th, 2023 will always be remembered for one of the world's deadliest terror attacks. On that day, Hamas terrorists stormed across the border from Gaza into Israel in what would become the worst attack in the country's history. At the end of the Jewish holiday of Sukkot, the terrorists launched their assault by land, air and sea. They had actually managed to penetrate what was always thought to be a fortress with ease. A year later, the confirmed death toll from the attack, including hostages killed in captivity, has reached 1,205 on the Israeli side. Terrorists abducted 251 hostages on October 7th, 97 of whom are still captive in Gaza. 33 hostages are dead. It was the first invasion of Israeli territory since the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The governments all over the world denounced the attack and described it as terrorism, while some Arab and Muslim majority countries blamed Israel as the root cause of the attack. The day was labeled the bloodiest in Israel's history and the deadliest for Jews since the Holocaust. In the week following October 7, the Israeli Air Force dropped 6,000 bombs on Gaza. A complete siege was ordered, cutting electricity and blocking the entry of food and fuel, and by October 27th, Israel had begun a full-scale ground operation in Gaza. The impact of the conflict spread as other regional groups began attacks in what they called solidarity with the Palestinians. Houthi rebels in Yemen began launching attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea, disrupting a key global trade route. Global concerns over a wider conflict grew when a strike hit the Iranian consulate in Syria, killing 16 people. And tensions rose again when Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed in Tehran while attending the funeral of Iran's former president. Iran responded by firing 300 rockets and missiles at Israel, most of which were intercepted, while the humanitarian situation in Gaza continued to deteriorate. By the middle of September, Israel declared a new goal of the war: to return roughly 60,000 Israeli citizens displaced due to Hezbollah rockets in the northern part of the country. Days later, a coordinated attack on Hezbollah pagers and walkie-talkies across Lebanon killed 37 and injured nearly 3,000. Bombings and air strikes across Lebanon followed, killing hundreds, including Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the killing of the Hezbollah chief was a historical turning point. Iran retaliated to the killing of Nasrallah by firing hundreds of missiles into Israel. On the eve of the first anniversary of October 7th, Israeli air attacks have battered Beirut's southern suburbs in the most intense bombardment of the Lebanese capital in years. It's a year since Hamas launched an attack on Israel, catapulting the region into a war and a humanitarian crisis that threatens to engulf the region. The families of hostages have been demanding a ceasefire and hostage release deal ever since they were captured. The conflict is expanding, and with it, any chance of peace appears to be dwindling. With inputs from Aarti Rana, Bureau Report, DD India.
que nous devons compter.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed victory against Hezbollah on Sunday during a visit to soldiers on the Lebanon border, recalling October 7 massacre anniversary.
A year ago, we suffered a terrible blow. For the past 12 months, we have been changing reality from end to end. The whole world is astounded at the blows you inflict on our enemies. And I salute you and tell you, you are the generation of victory. Together we will fight and together we will win with God's help.
Meanwhile, demonstrations are being held in major cities around the world calling for peace and release of hostages. In Argentina and Chile, vigils were held in the capitals on Sunday on the eve of the first anniversary of the conflict. Candles were held and a minute's silence was observed for those killed at the Plaza de Mayo of Buenos Aires. In Turkey, too, hundreds of people in southeastern city of Diyarbakir marched in support of Palestinians. In Paris, protesters too marched near the Eiffel Tower on Sunday calling for the release of hostages taken by Hamas militants. While in London's Hyde Park, several thousand people took part in a vigil on Sunday to remember the victims of October 7 attack. Shifting focus now, updates related to Russia-Ukraine conflict. Dutch Defence Minister has announced during a surprise visit to Kiev that the Netherlands will invest 400 million euros in advanced drone development with Ukraine. This collaboration aims to enhance battlefield technology, combining Ukraine's innovation with Dutch expertise. If successful, further funding will follow to ramp up production. The Netherlands has already committed 10 billion euros in military aid, spending 4 billion so far. Breckelmans also pledged additional F-16s in the coming months. After visiting the heavily bombed city of Kharkiv, he stated that striking military targets inside Russia is crucial to defending the city from ongoing attacks.
We just delivered the F-16s. Today I can officially announce that the F-16s, the Dutch F-16s, are in Ukrainian airspace. And today I also announced that we have an action plan on drones. So we will invest 400 million in the most advanced drones because we see that they are making a big difference on the battlefield. We have been in Kharkiv. The only way to defend Kharkiv is to attack military targets in Russia.
Now, a massive explosion outside Karachi airport in Pakistan leaves 2 Chinese nationals dead and several injured. In a statement emailed to journalists, separatist militant group Baloch Liberation Army claimed the explosion was an attack carried out by them using a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device targeting Chinese nationals, including engineers. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said a Chinese national was also injured and that an investigation was underway. The blast, suspected to have targeted foreigners, raises concerns about the safety of Chinese workers involved in China's Belt and Road Initiative. Pakistan is preparing to host the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in the capital Islamabad. High-level Chinese representation and the first visit by an Indian foreign minister in a decade are expected at the summit next week, which authorities have vowed to secure. On Sri Lanka, President Anura Kumara Dissanayake has announced that the investigations into the Easter Sunday attacks will be expedited. While interacting at the Negombo with the families of those killed in the Easter attacks of 2019, the president said that the steps will be taken to ensure that such a tragedy never occurs again in the island nation. He assured that justice will be delivered to the victims. The president also stressed the importance of conducting the investigation without any preconceived conclusions or biases. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake visited the church during the morning and laid floral tributes at the memorial established in honor of the victims. Easter Sunday attacks that took place on 21st April 2019 claimed the lives of 274 people and left many others injured. The tragedy is among the most tragic disasters in the history of Sri Lanka. In central Haiti, over 6,000 people have fled their homes in the aftermath of an attack by heavily armed gang members that killed at least 70 people. The attack in Ponson happened in the early hours of Thursday morning, and many left in the middle of the night. Grand Grif gang leader Luxon Allen took responsibility for the massacre, saying it was in retaliation for civilians remaining passive while police and vigilant groups killed his soldiers. The killings are the latest sign of a worsening conflict in Haiti, where armed gangs control most of the capital, Port-au-Prince, and are expanding to nearby regions, fueling hunger and making hundreds of thousands homeless. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration on Sunday announced that SpaceX workhorse Falcon 9 rocket can return to flight for a mission planned for Monday to launch the European Space Agency's Hera spacecraft from Florida. Tension flared between Elon Musk company and the agency following a second-stage malfunction during a Crew 9 mission, which caused the rocket to stray outside safety zones. SpaceX faces $633,000 fine for violating FAA rules earlier this year, while Musk has fiercely criticized the agency. Falcon 9 is now set to launch ESA's Hera spacecraft to study the effects of NASA's 2022 DART mission, which suddenly altered an asteroid's course. Hera's mission aims to gather crucial data for future planetary defense, protecting Earth from potential asteroid threats. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Ahead of counting of votes in J&K and Haryana on October 8, security beefed up in and around all counting centres.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will inaugurate DEF Connect 4.0 in Delhi, marking a significant step towards advancing indigenous innovation and celebrating the growing defence ecosystem of the country. DEF Connect 4.0 marks a milestone in India's defence innovation journey, which will feature an exciting technology showcase presenting IDEX innovators with a unique opportunity to exhibit their cutting-edge technologies, advanced capabilities and groundbreaking products. DEF Connect 4.0 will feature launches and announcements by the Minister alongside interactive and engaging sessions featuring industry leaders and defence stalwarts. The event will also include a themed session focusing on recent budget announcements, key takeaways for the defence innovation ecosystem and the latest initiatives in the semiconductor domain. And preparations are underway in India's Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana for counting of votes on October 8. Security has been beefed up in and around all the counting centres, where monitoring of strong rooms is being observed through CCTVs. The counting of votes for 90 seats each of both the legislative assemblies will take place from 8 a.m. IST tomorrow. Meanwhile, entry to the campuses housing counting centres has been restricted to officials authorised for the counting, and no person without an authorised pass will be allowed to come near the counting centres. Election Commission officials are ensuring that all the principles of fairness and transparency as per guidelines be followed. And the Reserve Bank of India will begin its 3-day monetary policy meeting today. The meeting will conclude on October 9, as it is to be seen whether the central bank keeps the repo rate unchanged as it has for the last 9 consecutive meetings. The repo rate is currently at 6.50% and has remained steady since the RBI adopted a cautious stance to balance inflation control and growth. The meeting also comes at a time when the US Federal Reserve announced a steep 50 basis points interest cut in its review meeting after holding interest rates steady for 8 straight meetings. External factors like the rising global crude oil prices and tensions in West Asia may compel the RBI to reconsider its current stance. Some weather updates now. Hurricane Milton likely to become a major hurricane on Monday. The hurricane is now moving erratically eastward through the southern Gulf of Mexico. Florida's Emergency Management Division has urged people to prepare for the largest evacuation likely since 2017. President Biden has urged all the residents in Florida to listen to local officials and make preparations as needed. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has approved mobilization of another 500 active duty troops to North Carolina to assist in the recovery efforts after the deadly and devastating Hurricane Helene. With a total of 1,500 troops now supplementing a robust on-the-ground effort, the Biden-Harris administration is mobilizing all relevant resources to support families as they begin their road to rebuilding. As these Florida brace for yet another catastrophic hurricane, US President Joe Biden has assured of providing assistance. A heavy rainfall warning has been issued by the Department of Meteorology in Sri Lanka, with prediction of thunder showers at most places in the island during the afternoon or night. Heavy showers above 100 mm are likely at some places. The department added that showers or thunder showers will occur in western Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Galle, Matara, Mannar and Mullaitivu districts over the next 24 hours. While in India, heavy rainfall is expected today in all northeastern states and some parts of southern India. Met Department has predicted that heavy rainfall may occur over Assam and Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. Besides Kerala, Tamil Nadu and south interior Karnataka is also expected to witness the rainfall. Sports now. We'll start with cricket. India registered a comfortable 7-wicket win over Bangladesh to take 1-0 lead in the first T20I of the 3-match series in Gwalior on Sunday. India first bowled out Bangladesh for 127 and then chased down the target of 128 with 49 balls to spare. Asked to bat first, Bangladesh were in early trouble at 14 for 2 with left-arm seam Arshdeep Singh removing both openers Liton Das and Parvez Hussain. It was also a memorable night for Varun Chakravarti, who made his comeback to the national side after 3 years, taking 3 wickets in the match. India were in total control of the game with Mayank Yadav and Washington Sundar picking up wickets in the middle overs. With the bat, Hardik Pandya blazed away to an unbeaten 16-ball 39, while Sanju Samson and skipper Surya Kumar Yadav got out after scoring 29. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.